Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I came across this interesting story and I thought I'd like to share this with you. The story is based in Saudi Arabia. Essentially, it's about a guy who's saying the story that's happened to him. What happened one day that he was sat down in his house he's quite poor. The area, the neighbourhood that they lived in is quite a poor neighbourhood. And suddenly one day he just heard this knocking on the door, and he rushed to open the door, only to see this guy going, "Where's your dad?" He just said, "Yeah, he's in," and he just barged in. So this guy, just perplexed about the whole this situation, was not sure what's happened. So he just rushed behind this guy, only to see that this guy has just rushed in. He knows he kind of knows where the sitting room is, and he went to go and speak to his dad. The storyteller's dad. And what happened is that he's gone then, and the guy who's saying the story just can hear all this screaming and shouting and, "I need my money, you owe me my money, I've been waiting for you so long and you haven't given me the money, when am I going to get the money," etc, etc. And at that point the guy said he heard his dad just saying, "You've got to wait for a little bit, I know I owe you the money, and I'm not denying it, but I will get you the money. It's just that my situation is a bit dire at the moment, and I can't afford to give you anything at the moment." And he said, "No, you owe me, and I'm going to take you to court, etc, etc, and all these threats and stuff." And at that moment, the boy stepped in, and he goes, "Listen, how much does my dad owe you?" And he goes, 90,000 Saudi riyals. So divide that by 5, and you know how much that is in pounds or in dollars. Now, he said, "Just calm down. You don't need to address my dad in that manner. Give me a moment. Let me sort you out." So he disappeared went and took some money out, as much as he can. He went in and took his entire life savings. So he was saving it for a potential wedding. Potentially he aimed to have a wedding, and he saved up about 27. And he ended up saving about 27,000 Saudi riyals. And he just went and took out that entire amount and gave it to the man. And he said to him, "From now on, you just come to me, and I will sort you out with my dad's loan. Give me a bit now to try and save up a little bit more, but at least now you've got something towards it. At least almost a third of the amount. I think that should buy us a little bit more time to go and get you the rest of it. And from now on, just don't pester my dad. Just come to me whenever you've got any issues. But I will guarantee you that I will get you the loan. I will pay it off. I earn some money, and I'll be able to give you at least on a monthly basis." And then his dad turned back to the guy and he said to him, "Please give him back his money. This is all he has. This is everything, and he's about to get married with it. Just give it back to him and I'll sort you out." And the guy didn't care. At least he's got something. And from the sound of it, he did owe him for a long time, and he just wanted anything at this stage. So he turned back to his dad and he said to him, "Dad, don't worry about it. It's fine. And I'm sure it's fine. I will sort it out. It's not a problem at all." Now, angry man left the house, content with at least that he got something out of the 90,000. And the boy turned back to his dad and he said, "Don't worry about it." And so the father turned back to his son and he said to him, "You shouldn't have done it." But at that moment, all he could do at that moment of sadness, he just said, "May Allah reward you. May Allah pave the path to success in your way. May Allah pave every path in front of you. May Allah ease any hardship." And it's like these du'as from the father or a mother for their kids go straight to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and gets accepted, inshallah ta'ala. Goes straight up there. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will accept it. And that's why it's very, very, very dangerous that parents make dua against their kids. So regardless of how much your kids are annoying you or pestering you, or however small or old, whatever they're doing, rather than saying, "Oh Allah, may Allah punish them, may Allah revenge for you," just say, "May Allah give them guidance," because you'd rather have them guided and with you rather than misguided and punished or in some prison somewhere away from you. So this guy made the dua and prayed to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He blesses him wherever he goes. Following day, subhanAllah, he goes into work, and he's quite a diligent, punctual employee. His work is always of top quality and does his best, and he's done whatever he can. He receives a phone call, and this phone call was from a friend that he has not spoken to for a long time. A really, really long time. And suddenly this guy somehow managed to find his number. And he said to him, I need to speak to you today. And they met up, and he said to him, well, listen, I work in a place for a big businessman. This businessman is looking for somebody to manage one of his retail shops. And he asked for me if I know anybody as diligent or somebody who can take up the responsibility. And from what I know of you and my friendship with you, and if anything, knowing you for this long, I couldn't vouch for anybody but yourself. I know how diligent you are with the kind of quality of work you produce, and you know what, you'd be the best person I can be a reference to. I couldn't think of anybody as honest as you for this position. So why don't you just quit your job and then come work for this guy? And I said, well, I can't just leave my job. I've got to go and figure out what's happening. And just figure out what the job is and if I really am up to scratch as you say I am. So they both went and met up with this businessman, and they sat down to chat. They talked about the role and what it entails, and he found that himself was quite suitable for this position. So he goes to the businessman, asks the storyteller, the main guy, and he says to him, how much is your salary? And he goes, about 4,200 Saudi riyals per month. Just to give you an idea, 4,200, not really a good standard of living. It will provide the basics, but kind of like sub-optimal 4,000 riyals. Rent would have taken up 2/3 of that, if anything. That's a cheap rent. So especially like in Riyadh, in the capital, you'd be paying 2,000-3,000 per month some places. Anyways, he said, yeah, about 4,000. That's my basics. That's my main salary. And he gets to him, listen, you work for me, and I will give you a salary of 15,000 riyals per month, so 3 times his normal salary. And add to that, I'll give you some allowances for like transport and living expenses and all of that stuff on top of your 15,000. At that moment, the son just couldn't hold it back, and tears started rolling down from his eyes. And at that moment, and he started looking down, and then he said, Dad, and he was just talking to himself, and he was saying, Dad, it looks like Allah paved the way for us, and I'm sure Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala looked upon us, and then He gave me this opportunity. But he said this like to himself. So the businessman heard that this guy was talking and was just moving his lips, and he thought, what were you saying? He said, no, it's fine, it's just something. He goes, no, you said something, I want to know what it is. And upon insisting and constantly pushing for it, he said to him, well, listen, this is a story. Yesterday, this happened. And I gave my life savings to this guy to pay off my dad's debt. And my dad just made some du'as, and then out of the blue, I get this phone call. So I knew that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala repay me for what I've done yesterday, and it's opened up a new path, a new career for me. And the businessman turned to him, and he was so touched by it. So the businessman, being touched with the story, he turned back to the guy and said to him, listen, how much does your dad owe? He said 90,000. I paid 27 yesterday, blah blah blah. He said, you know what, I'll pay the difference off for you. I just think that I'll just consider this an investment in you, and I'm sure you'll do well. And you know what, I'll give you 10% of the profits every month on top of everything that he's been given. SubhanAllah, the whole essence of the story, it's not about the story for the sake of it, but it's just to hammer in a point that I now live by, and that is, whenever you're doing a reward, whenever you're doing something good, do it wholeheartedly pleasing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not expecting the reward from anybody, not expecting repayment from anybody, not expecting a thank you from anybody. All you want to do is make sure that you're doing that so that you get the reward and the repayment back from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And to do that, you've got to do it to the best of your ability and to the sincerest of your capabilities, so that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will reward you accordingly. And when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala rewards, He's got an abundance of wealth, an abundance of provisions, and He can shower you with provisions that from means that you have never ever imagined. I hope this has helped you, I hope this has changed something, and I hope at the very least entertained you for a moment. Take care. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.